Alright gamers, welcome into Retro Time, and this is another retro review. So, in this video, I wanted to talk about Mega Man 02. I did beat Mega Man 01 already, you guys saw that last review, but I wanted to give my take and a full review of Mega Man 02, because I played through this twice, and I just had a lot of trouble playing through it the first time, so I went back through it again and changed things up. So, I want to go over how I feel about the game in general and what I think of the game, so let's just get into it. Alright, so Mega Man 02 is really good, but really difficult, really hard. And the reason I say it's difficult and hard is because of the simple fact that I had to play through this game almost twice to go back and figure out how I was going to end the game. And the way I ended the game was by using elves throughout the game that I totally didn't realize existed from the get-go. And what I mean by that is, from the beginning, when I started having trouble with the big bosses and the more difficult bosses, I really started to use certain types of elves. Now, in this game and the first game, they have elves so far in their system. The third, Mega Man 03, as far as I know right now, don't have elf system. But Mega Man 101 and Mega Man 02 both have an elf system, which requires you to have a certain capability that it helps you to defeat the bosses a lot faster. And it helps you to sometimes cut their health in half, or sometimes just increase your health or re-heal you in the midst of battle. And the flying boss right before the last boss is by far one of the most complicated bosses you'll probably ever fight in the Mega Man trilogy, so far from what I experienced. Now, I read around and heard that Mega Man 02 was one of the hardest games out of the Mega Man 0 trilogy, which I right now believe it. And even as me, as a person who plays these games, I'm witnessing Mega Man 02 being the hardest one so far out of all the games. And I'm playing 3, and I am literally almost 3-3. And I think what they did is they realized 2 was just super complicated to the point where a lot of people struggled. And even for me, like I said, I had to go back to the very beginning and start over. So, as for the mechanics of the game are a bit more evolved from the last one. So, example, Zero does a couple more things in this game than you could do in the last game. There's still a lot of things that are hard to control in this, and you'll see that if you play through 1 and 2. The story is really good. The story is a good connection to 1, and in this one, I'm not going to give too much away, but X does seem to pop up in certain ways, Mega Man X, but he isn't fully there. I can't give away too much of what is going on, but the elves take a different route this game, and it's a harder fight than what it is to get through this. The main antagonist isn't the person you expect at first, but by reading about him and the direction he takes, he kind of takes a really bad turn eventually because of something that happens. I'm not going to say much more about that, but just play through it and figure it out. The story is great. I like the story so far in the Mega Man 0 games. Everybody seems to be looking for X, which is what I'm noticing as an occurrence thing, as a reoccurring thing within these games. Now, graphics and art style. Art style and graphics are amazing in this. I really like the art style. It's a little bit more advanced than it is in Mega Man 0, for a couple reasons. Like, when you start the game up, you can see how different Zero looks compared to the way he does in the last game. There's something slightly different about him. And the bosses are drawn, they're kind of cool looking in this too. All the bosses in the Mega Man game, I think look really really cool. And you know, some original characters do show up back into the storyline, and everybody still, you kind of know who everybody is. There's a few differences here and there about them, and you'll see what I mean throughout the story. But graphics are pretty good. You know, the art's pretty good. The music in the game is also pretty good. The ending credit soundtrack, for some reason, I really, really liked it. It really stuck out to me. And there's a few other tracks within this game in each level that really, really stuck out to me. There's one in here that I still haven't figured out where it is. But all in all, this game's great. I give this game 8 out of 10 because it was very, very difficult. But it has the potential to be a good story. If you could sit down and you know, cut through all the story, cut through the game and cut out the story, you would see why I say it's a good story. But, you know, it starts off in a way where you're found kind of hurt, like, just, you're found doing your own thing. Like, Zero is a very loner kind of superhero protagonist, I would want to say. But other than that, these games are great. If you haven't played any of these yet, I suggest you do. So far, I played 1 and 2, and I love them. I love them a lot. I will re-give the first one. I want to say that one is a 7 because the story was good, but it wasn't good enough to say the story was top. Story-wise, that gets a 7. This gets an 8. And maybe that might change, but I'm not going to go back and do a review on them. But as I go along in these games, I'm going to give each one individually a different rating for their story. But yeah, Mega Man 202 is totally worth a try, and I suggest if you haven't played it yet, please do. But I'm going to give my last thoughts. Alright, so there you have it. There's my review on Mega Man 02. I'm playing through Mega Man 03. The one thing I will say about Mega Man 02 to 1 is you can feel the difference in the mechanics in the game. And then in this third one, you can definitely witness a whole heck of a lot of a better mechanic for it. Like, so far in 3, what I've played, he jumps way higher. And there's a floatiness about him. Like, he's a lot lighter, so I don't know if that's part of part of who he is. But there's a lot I'm not going to talk. I'm also not going to talk about some other things here because there's a lot in 3 that I would like to talk about here. But I'm going to wait for that review. So be prepared for that in the near future. I am playing through Mega Man 03 right now. So far, most of these games are all good. I was told a lot of good things about the Mega Man 0 trilogy. I'm going to try to get into the other Mega Man games here in the near future. But until then, guys, I hope you like what you saw here. And, you know, please subscribe to this channel. I am a very small channel. I'm trying to grow. And, you know, I hope you enjoyed this review because I got more of these coming. And until then, guys, game on, gamers. Take it easy.